Three, two, one.
Ready for this?
Yeah. I- I'm actually really excited for this. I wanted to practice something like this for a while.
Oh, so this is practice?
Yeah, kind of.
All right. Well, let's get to practice. All right. This is Brian Wright with Randy Hernandez,
What's up, guys?
and this is the Hivecast. Hello, Randy.
What's up, coach?
Are you going to practice?
Yeah.
All
I've been wanting. I actually really been wanting to do something like this for a while. I'm not gonna lie, just because I see myself doing something like this in the future.
Just what you see for your future.
Yeah, like being on camera and like talking to people.
Oh, you want to be famous?
Not famous. Just
You want?
like-
Should we?
I just want to make money.
All right. I'm gonna throw.
Just wanna-
I'm gonna throw it out right
so
to
I gotta
start.
try things like this.
The mind blowing moment for me with you is when you were rather new at the gym and I was busting your ass saying that you had to get a job, and you were like, "Coach, I'm gonna get a job." I was like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do?" And you were like, "I'm gonna start TikTok."
Yeah, it's like the average answer for a boy my age now, a teen.
I was like,
man.
"Are you kidding me? You're gonna start TikTok?"
Nah. Well, I have actually.
I
for
know, but
barbering.
yeah, but you're not making money off your TikTok. You're
Nah,
making
nah.
money off
doing
cutting hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been with us how long now?
Almost 3 years. Pretty
That's
sure.
that's crazy.
No. 2 years. 2 years. 2 years.
That's
I've been training MMA for 3 years.
yeah. You've been with us for like 2.
Yeah, too.
So how old are you again?
21.
21 years old. My gosh, you're a child. From the great city of Long Branch.
Yeah.
So what got you involved in everything? Like what was your thing? Like how did you find MMA?
Honestly, Joey. Actually, it's like the truth. Joey's the one that got me into MMA. Around my senior year, we started just weightlifting, and he was like honestly the only person that could really keep up with me in the gym. That like just worked hard, basically, honestly, and he always did kickboxing or like taekwondo. So he showed me a whole bunch of kicks, and I would just wrestle, and yeah, it was just he always talked about it and how he wanted to do it right after high school. So COVID happened, everything closed down. I wanted to do jiu-jitsu, so we started doing jiu-jitsu, and from there, just like it was just me helping him out.
But
'cause
you
he
do
wanted-
have a wrestling background.
Yeah, I do have a wrestling background.
When did you start wrestling?
3rd grade. around
When did you
there.
stop wrestling?
Sophomore year.
Why'd you stop wrestling sophomore year?
Truthfully, it was just my environment, the people I was around, just got distracted from sports. Yeah, like away from sports, I meant to say, yeah.
So when you got out of sports and then you came back to training, was it the same kind of feeling when you were wrestling? Did you find that again, or is it different?
Yeah, honestly, weightlifting got boring. I was just hitting the fucking iron for 2 hours every day. That got boring, so boring.
Why are you not bigger?
Because I could barely eat.
You make it sound like you were like a professional bodybuilder.
I was 170. I was 170.
You were skinnier when I met you than you are now.
No, I was 170.
You were way more. You have way more muscle now than when I first met you. No way.
I know, but I was once. It's because I stopped during COVID.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I barely eat when I need to.
And you're fighting at 35 now.
Yeah.
So walking around
I
170.
can eat
that's
scraps
different.
and be
Yeah.
fine for the day if I.
What'd
really
you
need
wrestle
to.
at in high school?
106, but I was 100 pounds.
What?
Yeah,
Damn.
freshman year. Yeah.
Brian's gonna be like that. Little Brian's gonna be.
I was
that
100
way.
pounds. I didn't hit 115 until junior year,
Wow.
and then I gained like. I was 170. I'm telling you, end of senior year, I was 170.
I was like,
I was working at Bubba Coos, making bowls every day, trying to stuff myself with food.
all that food you got to eat. You
Yeah,
got to
exactly.
eat. Damn. So
Other
what-
things help me eat too, but like, yeah.
So you were when you first started training with me. I'm not gonna say you were lost, but you were floating a little bit.
Yeah, I was for sure. It was a weird time. I'm not gonna lie. COVID was weird. I feel like a lot of people get experienced that. COVID was, I don't know. My senior year it was my senior year of high school.
So you didn't go to school your senior year? You did online?
No, this is why it was so weird for me. Half till March, I was in school, and then the rest, the supposedly your highlight of your high school career, never saw it. So
It's so crazy. I don't think about the impact of it because I'm old. But
Yeah,
when
but,
I look at like Brian versus Reed, even Reed's 5. He has like 2 years where he wasn't interacting with other kids.
yeah, that's just it's huge.
And he's so different than Brian personality wise. And there's a lot of he's different socially than Brian was. And when I think about it, I'm like, man, this kid was deprived of 2 years of really interacting heavily with kids. And then even Brian with school, he had the online, and then he had masks and all this stuff. And I was reading about masks. They were saying one of the big issues with the mask was with kids is they see your facial expressions. So a lot of kids are getting this just
That's huge.
audio, and they're not
100%.
seeing the face, and it just the interactions are cut back, and it's different. And people are wondering why kids are like acting different right now, but
No, 100%.
it's wild. I'm not thinking of that. That COVID time was different for me. You know, with the gym, I kept people were still fighting, so I stayed active. My life really changed dramatically during COVID because of not having the classes, not having access to people. I had to go online with stuff. There was a lot of things I had to do to survive, but I'm not in developmental years, and I'm not missing out my senior year of high school.
Yeah, it was weird.
And then think about college athletes, people that are going into college sports, and they have to go into the bubble scenarios and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's wild. And then the impact of all that, a lot of you guys have this block of time where you could have been doing things differently, but you ended up in the patterns that you ended up. And I feel like now a lot of people that come through the doors in the gym, all of us, we're dealing with this like pre-COVID behavior, weird COVID time behavior, and now the post-COVID ramifications. And we're all still trying to figure it out. Even from fighting, I mean, I'm flying all over the country wearing a mask on all the planes.
Yeah.
I have to get COVID tested every day at the fights. I'm wearing masks in the corner, all this stuff. And then just one day I go to the airport, like, yep, you don't need a mask anymore. And then the organizations were like, yeah, we're sick of paying for the COVID test, so we're all good now. And it's wild. And then amateur died. Amateur disappeared.
Yeah.
There was no amateur fighting for 2 years.
No, I mean, like, I'm grateful for it because it led to me where I'm at now. But like, definitely weird phases. Like, didn't have my prom, didn't get to experience prom house, all that stuff.
Wow.
Didn't have a we had a drive-through graduation. Like,
Drive-through
I
graduation.
didn't get to see anyone from my class. Like, it was very hard to see people I really wanted to see. You know, I mean, the people that I really cared to stay in touch, but I learned a lot from it too.
What about a senior who's looking at college to get
Oh,
a scholarship for sports? What about the valedictorian of your class who doesn't give you the speech? And man,
100%, a lot of things.
It's nuts.
I was actually in Brookdale for a semester, but me as a learner, I couldn't do online classes. It was way too hard for me, honestly. I'm just like, I like to ask questions. You probably see that a lot at the gym. I'm just
You like to ask questions?
Yeah. Don't act like I don't ask questions all the time. Stupid questions.
Not only do you ask questions, but you're probably the most inappropriate question asker. not the question itself. It's just your sense of timing is non-existent.
Oh yeah, I just like whenever I feel like it. Like,
I can be
it just
I can
pops
be on
up
the phone
because I might not think about it
You're just like,
in the moment. You know
yo,
what I'm saying?
coach, shut up, Randy. Ask me later.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I just be forgetting questions. So
You have to get a notebook. You got a phone.
Nah, yeah.
You got a phone, right? Just
phone,
freaking
yeah.
put a note in your phone. Text it to me.
Yeah, I definitely do that a lot.
But so you go to Brookdale and you can't really handle that because
No.
you can't do this online learning.
It was weird
thing.
trying to interact with your teachers.
Zoom
Yeah.
stuff. My son would sit there and cry because he
It
had to
was
go to the
awful.
gym with me during the day because I was training. Like Carl had fights and I was training Carl, and Brian would have to come in. We get the laptop on. I'd put him he would literally sit in the octagon and do Zoom classes, and he would just cry because kids aren't paying attention, kids are talking, and the teachers are yelling at everybody to get their attention. And he likes to do the work. He likes to be good. He's not a bad kid, you know. He's always paying attention. He wants to ask the right questions. And when 8 out of 10 kids are being yelled at to pay attention to the screen. It's like, man,
Yeah, you're just
it's
not,
too stressful.
just you're not in that environment. You know what I'm
No.
saying? So that's just how I am for me. Like if I'm at the gym, I'm gonna put the work. Like I'm right there.
But the gym,
It's the same thing with school though. When I was in school, I'm gonna do my homework. Got to do what I'm doing right here because I'm here. You know?
I feel that there are some people that are not built to be solo. They need that group environment. They have to be around people to make things work. They have to have direct
100%.
access to the teacher. They have to have training partners to try stuff with and all that. And that's what I think one of the values of having combat sports as an option is important to understand. It's like not everybody has to go and get some high level intellectual degree. Some people are meant to work with people and get their hands dirty like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. And with us, I told you from the beginning, I said, you have to have discipline in everything. And it wasn't a struggle. It's just something that we dealt with from the beginning. Like, I've never really talked to you about the evolution of it. I've just seen you evolve, going from coming in a little bit lost, trying to figure out how to make a living, to training, getting your consistency. And then you've made some steps, which we can get into. But what was the thing that made you stop trying to do alternative economy and actually start
Nah, you
living
could
in
say
the
it out
light?
loud.
I mean, you say it. I don't want to
I
throw you.
mean, I was 16, 15. I was young, so I don't really care. But like, I was just selling hella weed. That's really what it was. I felt like I had to make ends meet, sadly, for myself. I just didn't want to.
Don't touch the microphone. What are you doing?
Sorry.
What's wrong with you?
I'm just talking.
You're
I'm
a
just
fidget,
talking.
man.
Yeah, I am a fidget. I can't sit in the chair. Yeah, I just didn't want to rely on my parents at a young age. Just going through things.
What makes you think it's okay to do that? And I'm not judging.
No.
But at what point, like you're like 15,
honestly,
16 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, what makes you think that kind of risk is okay?
Just because my age, how young I am.
You just didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I just didn't give a shit. Honestly.
You're just like, I want money.
But like, people might think I'm a bad person for that, and I understand that. But
no, but you don't.
I've been around worse things.
But explain your environment, though. I mean, where are you growing up and what's around you? I mean, Long Branch is a rough neighborhood. Long Branch is a nice neighborhood.
No, yeah,
but it's a rough neighborhood
it's just
too.
Who you surround yourself,
and you
with.
have a lot of access to things.
No, it's just who you surround yourself with. Like honestly,
Yeah.
it's honestly groups make. I don't know what the saying is, but like whoever you hang out with is who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's definitely about the people you surround yourself with. That's all I could really say.
And so they basically, you didn't have a barrier for that. Like it wasn't.
Nah.
It wasn't like you.
And it wasn't like me trying to be cool. I just like the thought of money. It was just like something I always desired growing up.
And then when did you make a shift where you're like, okay, I need to stop doing this?
When my name was just labeled as being the plug or like the guy to get you drugs. Like, honestly, like I could tell you a good story actually. So I was at this party and this girl just came up to me and it just bothered me because she asked for these other substances and I just don't want to be associated with it. And then it just makes sense because what I do.
Yeah.
So,
You're a person
like,
with access.
Yeah, exactly. So it just bothered me. And I just didn't want my name to be around that label anymore. You know what I'm saying?
So weed wasn't an issue for you, but the other stuff was.
Yeah, I just didn't want I want my name to mean something more than just
Drug dealer Randy.
the drug dealer Randy. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So I had Joey help me a lot, honestly. He just always pushed that away from me. So,
How long have you known Joey?
4 years now.
How'd you guys meet?
Senior year.
Okay.
Senior year, yeah. Beginning of senior year, we had a class. We had that teacher that came into the class with his son. His son was really good at gym.
Yes. Yeah. I can't remember the name. But
That's the class I met Joey in, actually. He was the teacher.
okay.
Yeah. So we bonded over lifting, honestly, just going to the gym.
And so he was like, "What are you doing?"
And he was honestly the only kid, or like all my other in my friend group that I was used to hang out with, they all had girlfriends. So he was like the only kid that was always down to go to parties and stuff. So I was like, all right, we bonded over that too. Going out and getting hammered. Yeah.
But he didn't. He was like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah. We just started lifting, and then it was just literally an everyday thing.
No, but he was like, "What are you doing? Why are you selling? Why are you dealing?"
Yeah. He like, I don't want to put, yeah. He was like, yeah, why are you doing that? You could get caught up one day. He always was like that bad, the good angel in your ear, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For me, honestly. Because it was just,
But that's a real friend, to be honest.
yeah, no, I mean,
that's a real friend. The one who's looking
100%.
out for your long term benefit. Because the quick money,
Yeah, once I turned 18, I was like, I gotta stop.
but the quick money, that's
It's
a real draw for a lot of people, man. But you have things. When you're young and you're stupid and you have things.
I'll say in these terms, I was making a couple bands a week. Like,
Yeah. And you're probably rocking whatever Jordans you wanted, and you're wearing what you wanted.
Had to look fresh.
But you didn't have to, but you had the ability to.
So, yeah.
That's the crazy part, and it's funny.
I was stupid with my money. I haven't saved a dime. I never saved a dime from it. But like, I'm glad I didn't. So.
But the reason why you didn't save it was because you felt like it was never going to end.
Yeah, no.
Because it was coming to you too easy at a young age, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's the curse of fighters. There's so many fighters that I've dealt with that they forget that at some point they're going to retire and that paycheck's going to go away. They don't realize that, that consistent money that you're making fighting, it's only there when you fight.
But, yeah.
And if you haven't developed a career that's going to provide you opportunities in the sport, when you stop fighting, it's gone. And then you have to go back to being a civilian. And if you haven't done
the right things, like
if you haven't established yourself to be successful, you're not going to be successful. It doesn't just magically happen.
No, even with your finances though too.
But all of it, yeah, it's everything. But it's people, it's finances, it's all of it. All of it. I always find it interesting the struggles that everybody goes through and the temptations that are in front of them. Yeah, it's good that you had somebody like Joey to tell you, man. Like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
I had some scary warnings before. I just didn't care. I was just like.
And in your generation too,
people think scary encounters.
But people think of weed though, but they think of weed as no big deal. But the thing is, it is a big deal. I
mean, at the time it was illegal, so like.
But it's still illegal to still on the street.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, just because they pick and choose when they go after it doesn't mean you're not going to be one of the ones they choose. They can pick on you if they want. You got to be careful with that stuff. And then on top of it, it's street stuff. So now you're dealing with street people, you're dealing with street money, you're dealing with all that stuff. Shit gets crazy.
Yeah, I've seen some scary things. 100%.
That money didn't come to you from nowhere. You had to get that from
100%.
people. And now you're dealing with collecting, and it's not a legit thing. And
no, I never done like.
No, but you got to get paid for what you're selling people.
Yeah, 100%.
That gets crazy for some people if the dollar amounts get too high.
Yeah, you're just selling to sketchy people.
Yeah.
A lot of sketchy people in Long Branch, yeah.
There's a lot of sketchy people, period. But yeah, that's why for me, I've always looked at that stuff. And I told you straight from the rip when we met. It's just not good for your long-term success.
No, at the time, I wasn't.
Sell it, to smoke it, to do any of that stuff. You know where I stand on that.
No, I literally stopped, during COVID.
When did you start smoking?
15.
How long did you smoke till?
I'm not going to sit here and lie like I don't smoke, but it's occasionally now. It's like,
yeah, but you were smoking every day all the time.
Yeah. No, my first year, it was like, we just made it a weekend thing, me and my friend group at the time. It was just a weekend thing. Just young sleepovers, just groups of friends, and we just
Do you see a difference from training while smoking consistently to now where it's like a here and there thing?
Yeah, 100%. Clarity, just thought process of the game, a lot sharper, I feel like. A lot of things.
I feel it's almost sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. No, it's okay.
It's just like less stressful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Everybody, it's different, but I haven't had many experiences where it's worked out for people that are smoking heavily and trying to train. There's somebody out there, I'm sure, but I haven't found them yet.
Bobby Green.
But the way he goes about it's different too.
Yeah, no, 100%.
He fully embraces that. You know, I haven't personally seen people achieve what I know they're capable of while they're in that kind of lifestyle. I feel like once you start making the decisions to alter your reality chemically instead of altering your reality with focus and discipline and grit and endurance and, you know, the things that are the building blocks for what we do, it just becomes a weakness in a lot of ways, because then you're looking for outside help to get through stuff that if you would figure out how to get through it practically, you'll get through it forever instead of just masking it with something. That's my opinion, and I'm not being judgmental. And all my stuff is anecdotal. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I can just tell you, at this point, after 25 years of running a team, that I've never seen a positive result to people chemically altering themselves to distract or get a better result. That's it. Like, I mean, at 21, if you can learn that lesson now, that's great. And then if you can hold on to it, even better. And you teach kids too.
No, yeah, that's also like a big factor too. Like I love teaching kids. I really do. Something I want to keep on doing for a long time, probably until I can't.
I've been saying from the beginning when I had my first school, I said I had to make a decision that I was going to live in a way that if I had to stand in front of kids' class and I had to tell them something I did, I'd be okay with it. I didn't want to ever be in a position where I have to hide I don't want to hide an aspect of myself from people that I'm trying to educate.
I can relate. I just want to be a coach that I was always looking for. You know what I'm saying?
And that, that's kind of the thing. That's like the no dickhead policy. I tell people that all the time.
That's fair.
That you have to be for somebody what you wanted when you were in their shoes.
100%.
And people don't get that a lot. A lot of people look for the get back. Like, oh, I'm in a power position now. When I wasn't in one, people were abusive. So they try and do the get back instead of the give back. We can change the game or we can continue to play the game. I want to change the game. I want to create an environment that's very different than the environments that I've been a part of. You've been a part of other spots.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I agree completely on that one.
One night really remember is we had a problem with someone in the gym. We weren't happy as a group. We were struggling with somebody and the choices they were making. And I remember you and Joey and somebody else came up to me and started talking to me. And I said, yo, do we want to be like the schools that you came from and sit here now and just talk to each other about it? Or maybe you don't talk to me, maybe you go talk to that person. And you guys were like, oh shit. And then you had to go talk to that person. Because you've come from other schools and you saw how it gets clicky and weird and stuff because communication's off.
100%. That's like usually that's like always the key detail in certain spots.
Yeah. I mean, the gym within the gym thing is the dumbest shit.
Yeah, 100%.
That's where it gets stupid because then everything's adversarial. And then too, like that, we don't have the belt rank issue, but you do see, I've never met someone that didn't say, oh, this guy got promoted over me because they're closer to the coach. That happens all the time. That's everywhere.
Yeah, no,
everybody has that excuse.
Yeah.
So when you take away the click, you can't say that. There's no favoritism.
Yeah, I love no gi. The gi is so boring.
Well,
it's cool sport. Like,
I like gi.
It's cool.
You don't need rank to do gi. I mean, you don't need rank to do anything. It's just the foundation. It's the culture of those places. Yeah. For us, it's just a little different where without having that weird hierarchy that you can put yourself above or feel below, and you have the freedom to be yourself, and we really create an environment to do that. That it's just different. And we don't run into that click thing. We just have one big click. Everybody's in the same squad.
And it shows.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really matter, honestly. It showed today. I was like, not gonna lie, I was impressed with the results. Like, it was.
Yeah, it was great. Luke today went to
These guys haven't been training for year.
Neither one. Yeah. Luke and Rambo went to Naga today. They haven't been with us a year.
Exactly. And they're getting belts. Medals. Yeah.
Luke Smith, everybody he went against today. Kid's a little beast.
Yeah.
And we were just talking before we went live too. If this kid just get some confidence. Oh my God, the monster,
Mm-hmm.
the monster.
Yeah, it's just being in there, honestly.
So unfortunately, you were booked for December 2nd and you can't fight because you had your nose busted. They may not be able to see it on camera right now, but your nose is pretty fucked right now.
Yeah,
It's pretty bad.
it's all good. It
Yeah,
happens.
but it's part shit happens
It
for
happens,
sure.
100%.
But I feel that this fight we got to a different place because your first fight, you felt great the entire time. You felt good about taking it. You felt good about training for
Nah,
it.
I was really scared.
But
I was-
no. But
yeah.
you were in a good. You
Yeah,
were
yeah,
like
yeah,
you were
I
in a
was on-
motivated, hard to go.
Go,
Like
yeah.
I'm ready to go space. And then this one, it was a very slow commitment to do.
Yeah, 100%.
You were very hesitant about. And you also had elbow surgery.
Elbow surgery. Outside of my fight life, it was a little weird.
Yeah.
Making a different type of transition in the barbell life.
But this fight,
It
though,
was no.
but this fight, the big thing was you were not 100% feeling it, and we kind of had to talk you into getting to work. But then, in a very short amount of time, the work reminded you who you are and what you were meant to do.
Like I wanted to fight. It was just like
You were scared.
I wasn't even scared.
Stop it. You were scared of not being in the best place.
Yeah, honest. Yeah, I don't know. I was just scared in terms of honestly my other life. Like that's really it.
But now you got to
If
be a
shit
man
was-
about it,
Yeah,
though.
100%.
Now you got to be a man. You got to have a job. You got to do things. I mean, you have relationships you got to balance. You have work you got to balance. You have all these things to balance. You don't, as an amateur MMA fighter, you don't have the luxury of only doing that. You have to take care of yourself and take care of that.
Yeah.
And you're better. I mean, you're so much better now than when you had your first fight, and you really didn't do much except train for that fight. This one, you're balancing a bunch of stuff, and you've never.
I felt good.
I think
I still feel good. Even
all
with
your
a broken nose.
all your skills are better. I mean, your nose is busted, which just sucks. But we'll fix it, and then we'll come back and we'll go right back to it. But if you can carry that feeling that you got in this camp, that confidence of, oh, I can do this. I can kind of flip that switch when I need to and get to work, and it'll work itself out. If you can carry that around, you'll be able to fight whenever the time permits instead of whenever you want. And that's the hard part about it is you're not going to be able to fight when you want all the time. Sometimes the fight comes at weird times, and you just have to flip that switch and be ready to go.
That's what me and Joey were talking about. Like one night, he was just like, "We got to do it. It's business.
Yeah,
It's not always going to be like that.
It's not a glory thing. It's a business thing when you get down
100%.
to it. You have a goal, and you've got to you got to make the transactions. You got to do the deals that can get where you want to go. Yeah, just get that experience. Take advantage. Amateur, if you're healthy and you can go. You spend enough time on the shelf with an elbow injury. I mean, you had to get bone chips taken out, and you sat on the fence for too long. We missed. How many fights do you think we missed? Like at least 2. So now we had another one coming, and now, okay, you get hurt, fine, another injury. But once we go, now it's like we got to take whatever comes our way. And we just got to get that work in.
I just want to go. Be as consistent as possible.
Yeah. And it's a different mentality. Because in the beginning, when you first came to this, you probably were thinking that fighting was different than what it is, too.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
So,
street fighting is not.
but even,
it's
but
not
not
the
even,
same as actually fighting in the cage.
and then also,
and preparing for it, it's
and
crazy.
what you see versus what it
It is,
is,
exactly.
It's different, and you have to be prepared for that.
People know what they're doing. Like,
Yeah, everybody. That's the thing. It's crazy. Like with amateur too, out of nowhere,
Like,
you get guys that have a particular
wrestle,
skill
too.
set that can do it all. Yeah, and you have to be in that space where you can take these challenges on, and you have to do it in a way that you're going to be able to live with the results. That's the most important part, is doing it in a way you can live with the results. So that's why.
That's what I've been coming to more of a realization of, honestly. Just like, got to do it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen now, or it's going to happen later, You just got to do it.
You got to get into it. You got to do it, and
Yeah.
you got to. If you do the work, you feel if you do the work and you take on the challenges, the results become much easier to swallow.
For me, honestly, the gym part is easy. It's not easy, obviously, training that hard, going the pace we go at the gym, going 2 hours class to class and then sparring. It's not easy. But like for me, the most satisfying part about camp is my diet. Like not eating the bullshit. Like
well, it gives you, everybody.
I feel like I'm like so sharp, even though it's just like placebo probably of me eating clean and stuff.
But everybody struggles with something.
Yeah, it's food is.
And then when you have a goal, that struggle becomes
rewarding. Yeah,
a lot less of a struggle because the goal is bigger. And that if the goal matters. If you have a bullshit goal, you're not going to change behavior. But if you have a real goal, you change behavior. And it goes hand in hand. Like, that's like the biggest one. The one that pisses me off the most is when people come in and they talk about big goals and they don't make the changes to achieve the goal. So I'm like, oh, so you're just full of shit. So you're all talk. So you're just like the excuse train and you're never going to get there and you're just wasting our time. And that's the one that pisses me off the most. Because if you come in and you have a goal and you think that's not going to require change, you're nuts. Because when you start out, you know nothing. You just know what you want. You don't know what the cost is going to be yet. You're finding out every day what the price tag is.
Yeah.
It's different than when you thought it was. Some days it's not as expensive. Some days it's a little bit more expensive. But there's a cost. And you got to pay it. Got to pay it. And if you're not willing to pay it, don't waste our time and don't destroy your body screwing around. You got to be serious about this shit. You're going to get hurt otherwise. You might get hurt doing it you could be doing it perfect and still get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want to live with.
You got to change your hobbies and what you do, 100%.
Yeah.
Just how it be for certain things that you want in life.
Well, if you want it, you will.
Yeah,
but
will.
if you really want it,
you're going to change it.
You can't just want it in word. You have to want it in every way.
100%.
Because you have to have value for it. And I had a guy come in today. His son has it's a terminal illness they don't have a cure for. He's getting ready for a boxing match. And he came in and I let him have the floor for a few minutes. And the big thing he was talking about was, your why. Like, why do you do this? Why do you come through the door every day? If you're not connected with your why, it's going to be really hard to go through this grind consistently. It's very difficult to come in if you don't know why.
You definitely need to have a why, 100%.
And it has to be more than glory and fame. It has to be something important.
I have my whys. I definitely do, 100%.
I was talking to a dude the other day in the gym.
You have to. That's like key. That's the most important thing, honestly. For me, that's just like morally.
But it's not you. I think it's as human beings.
Yeah.
Because as an MMA fighter, the one thing I can guarantee you is at some point in your career, you're going to be in the last round with someone on top of you and you're getting elbows dropped on your skull and you're going to have to make the decision. Are you going to quit and save yourself for another day? Or are you going to pick your ass up and start fighting back? It's always going to happen. And if you don't have a why, you'll quit. If you have a why that's greater than your sense of self, you have a chance to fight back. Sometimes you can't. No matter how hard you try, sometimes you can't. But if you can, you'll figure out that way. But you gotta have a big why, man. You have to have a big why. And glory and fame are not enough. Money's not enough. It's something different.
That's why I wasn't saying before about this being practice. It's just like
that what?
You're saying how I wanted to treat this like practice. It has nothing to do with being famous. Just something I have to do, I feel like.
So you want to be a person that has a message out there?
Yeah, I mean, like, I just feel like creating content, trying to find different routes.
What's the attractiveness of creating content?
I feel it's just what it is nowadays, honestly. It's like, I forgot the statistic on it, but what every kid wants to be now. Like, there's no blue collar, kids don't want to be blue collar workers anymore. Like, it's just how it is.
So,
because they want to have fun, they want to party, do all that other. I mean, I don't want to do that, but I'm saying like they just want an easier life.
My biggest struggle with a lot of this stuff is where's the value in the basic stuff? Like somebody,
no, 100%.
But somebody has to.
That's why I picked up a trade because like
somebody
like
has to cut your hair.
Yeah.
Somebody has to cook your food.
100%.
Somebody has to clean the streets. Somebody has to fix the toilet. Somebody's got to do these things, and devaluing that is dangerous. And
It's-
honestly,
I just feel like they don't push that enough anymore.
but fighters are some of the worst traps of this. I mean,
No, I agree completely.
most most fight gyms,
Yeah.
most fight gyms you walk in are a bunch of people where their careers aren't going anywhere, but they keep selling themselves a dream because they just don't want to get a 9 to 5 because
No,
they
we
feel
talked
like
about
it's
this, yeah.
failure.
Yeah.
But that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not
stupid.
failure.
Once I really sat and thought about that, I was like, yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
But it's having the ability to pay for your life is a
Life, yeah.
really empowering thing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So we were talking about how you want to start TikTok, and then I gave you a world of shit about that, and then we really had a lot of talks about what do you want to do in life, and you were like, I want to be a fighter. I'm like, okay, but you have years before that's going
Yeah.
to pay anything. Like you're not paying bills until you're probably 3-4 contracts deep into the UFC or something of that equivalency. But in the meantime, what were you going to do? And you were struggling with it. You couldn't figure it out, but you were like, the barber thing was
Yeah, I
a
was just
thing.
door dashing at that time.
Which
That's
You-
not.
all you-
It's worst time to be door dashing.
And all
the
your-
economy was awful with gas.
and all you're doing is paying for gas and
Yes,
putting miles
yeah.
on your car. And I mean, how much money do you really make?
Probably just enough to get like a bowl from Chipotle.
It's stupid
For that day.
And you're still living at home.
And yeah, exactly.
You're not buying a house or renting an apartment off that shit,
Exactly.
which is crazy. But then we're saying like something. You do have a creative bent, like you do like creative projects and
100%.
stuff. So
I've been around like
but then the barber thing kind of
Kinda
fit
cl-
into
yeah.
that. And you borrowed money from your parents.
yeah, they helped me out.
So you borrowed money from your parents,
Yeah.
so that you can go to barber college.
Yeah.
And then you got a job, and you've been working really hard to. Did you pay them back yet?
Almost, honestly.
How long?
Close.
How long you been out of school?
2 years? No, I'm
no.
lying. A year.
You've been out of school maybe not
Even a year.
Not even a year.
Yeah.
So you're not even out a year. You're paying them back for putting you through, helping
8
you get
months.
through, but you're paying them back,
Yeah.
and you're establishing yourself now, so that you have a steady stream of income in a field you enjoy, scratching the creative itch, interacting with people, still training, teaching kids class, getting active as a fighter. You're like building a life. Like you'll be able to get an apartment. You'll be able to put gas in your car and pay for insurance and do all these things.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm so old, but I'm so young at the same
You're
time.
21 years old.
I know,
You're
I
a
know.
fucking child. Are
I-
you
I
kidding me?
am, I know.
You're a child.
You tell me this all the time.
But I know, because you are, and you got to remember that you have so many more years to go. But the value of these choices you're making now gets you so much farther ahead
I'm
from
just
the
being
kids.
greedy. I'm just being greedy. Like Jimmy.
But even Jimmy
No,
got
I'm
a
just
job.
joking. It was a
I
joke.
know,
It
I know
was
it's
a
a joke, but Jimmy got a job, and wow, Jimmy gets a job.
No, I just want.
Jimmy gets upgrades, gets a better girlfriend. Like now he's having a kid. He's got this job. I keep saying it, but it was like he went from like making nothing to he has a really legit job, and he also got better at his striking and his wrestling, and he has better relationships and the whole thing because he stopped being selfish and tunnel vision on this one idea, and he realized, oh, I have to be a human while I'm chasing the dream. Yeah.
He's the man for sure.
But the more you guys understand early that you have to maintain your humanity, which means you have to have value and you have to take care of yourself and all that kind of stuff. I look at it as if we're in the jungle, you got to find food and water to survive. You don't, there's no magical mom and dad walking around taking care of you all the time,
Yeah.
and we got lazy and we get soft sometimes because people take care of us to our own detriment.
No, but like the reason why I'm so greedy right now is probably because what I used to do in the past, always having that quick cash to get me through things when I need right away. So like that's why everything I do now, all my choices I made in life, have to do with experience, and that will come over time.
Yeah.
But I'm just.
I'd rather be broke.
Yeah, no.
I'd rather be broke.
No, you're right. Nah, it's just.
I've had a lot of money
I'm
and
young,
been,
so I haven't like really.
but I've
well,
also
experienced that,
I've had a lot of money and been miserable, and I've had no money and been happy. And happiness is not dictated by finances. Happiness is dictated by the way in which we live our lives. The closer to our truth that we live, the happier and more satisfied we tend to be. And that's why I'm saying I would rather be broke than break my code to collect shit. Like,
No, yeah, no. I feel that. I feel that right now. It's just for some certain people that I care about. I feel like money is what makes them happy.
but
So I just
so you know that you can make quick money. So you have that crazy temptation sitting on your shoulder
yeah.
because you want to make that money. But you have one side of you saying, hey, come over here. We can make it really quick and you can get that stuff. It's just a one off. It's just a one off. Just get some shit and you can sell it, flip some stuff, you'll be fine.
100%.
But then the other side of you saying, wait a minute, but I can still get that. It's just going to take a little longer, but I can do it consistently and legally and morally and
100%.
ethically correct. And you got to make that decision. That's the hardest part about that drug dealing in particular, man. I've seen it too many times. It's just such quick and easy money. And people just, they break down barriers because they look at the dollars and they say, you know, get rich. Look, forget about drugs. I mean, how much stuff do we see on like internet, self-help, all this crap? They're always selling you the course to get rich quick. You don't need to learn how to do it. Just do what I do, all that kind of stuff.
100%.
The reason I like fighting is that there's no shortcut. If you don't do the work and if you don't show up on fight day and put out, there's no magical $20 course. There's no YouTube video. There's no Instagram influencer. It's just you. Locked in a combat sport with another human being, and you got to do the job. And if you didn't do the job before the job, you're not going to be prepared. Can't execute. And that's the beauty of it. I think it's the lesson that so many of us, I think a lot of us do things that we can actually get that knowledge, but we've got to focus on that side of it instead of saying, oh, doing this job and getting paid or finding satisfaction in it, instead of overlooking it because it's not the perfect scenario, is where it gets. That's where it gets different. Like I struggle when I first started my gym 25 years ago. It was easier. It was different. The art of storytelling was different. Like we watched long form content. We didn't have access to stuff like we do today because there was no internet. But the fighters they came to you to find what everybody goes to the internet to find now. So not all that information is coming from experience. It's not coming from legit sources. It's coming from posers and people that haven't done anything, that are just preying upon the question to make money. And it's created a little bit of a murkier environment that way. So guys aren't as open to ideas because they don't look at you as the source, you know. And it's just different. But once you get into it, it's all the same. It was funny. Somebody found videos on YouTube from like 20 years ago from me training. They were like, oh my God, you're throwing the same combinations 20 years ago. I'm like, yeah, because what worked then works now, because there's no evolution in the individual things we do. How we mix them up is different because MMA has really changed how the perspective, but it doesn't change the principles and the techniques. And that's why, like what we're talking about, this struggle that you went through, it's the same struggle everybody always goes through. So many kids go through this.
Yeah, I know.
And they're faced with the quick money.
I heard worse stories. Like I hanged out with kids that have it way worse than me, but like it was just.
But it's not worse. It's the same thing, but just the
different.
It's different. It's just different perspective on the same story.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
How many kids? I mean, you probably have kids you went to school with that are in jail now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are dudes
I used to hang out with all the time.
There are dudes we're looking at that we used to train with that are looking at jail time because same exact problem, because they never got over it. Doesn't matter if you're 20 or if you're 30. If you're still looking for that quick money and you're looking for that quick clout chase, that's what happens. That's why the consistency and the long-term value and having a code and sticking to it is really important.
Oh, yeah.
I've known bad people.
That's all it was. Yeah, I just keep on doing it every day. That's really it.
I never went down that road. I was never a dealer or anything. I stayed in the light, basically. I've known a lot of people from the other side. I got to a point where I had to make a decision for myself that the association with those kind of people is not worth it. It's not like you're watching the movie Goodfellas and it's kind of like, cool to see Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro play gangsters. When you meet real gangsters, they're interesting. But
Nah,
but then when you see what they do,
yeah, yeah.
and it's
Shady
like
shit. Some shady shit.
you're preying upon the weaknesses of other human beings. And you're building a lifestyle off of the weakness of other people. I just don't want to participate in that. And I think that's what we're building a community that's based off of focusing on the strengths and eliminating as much of these weaknesses as possible and challenging each other in terms of what is your code? What do you stand for? What are you willing to fight for? And that's what we're talking about, having a why that goes beyond yourself.
100%. Yeah, I was just cocky when I was young. Just real cocky. My demeanor was off. It's just MMA just what humbled me, honestly. It's not easy getting punched in the face.
No, it's
Just
not. You know, it's
just getting humbled, you know what I'm saying? You're not this guy that you think you are. You just
I opened up my first school when I was 24. That's a lot of audacity. I was
that's
24
ballsy.
years
Yeah,
old.
like
I was 24,
what do you
man.
know at 24?
Well, I thought I knew a lot.
That's
And then,
what I be thinking sometimes.
but then I ran into somebody that knew a hell of a lot more than me. You know, I ran into somebody that knew a lot more than me, and I had to do the same thing. I had to say, oh, okay, I'm not going to be the leader today. I got to follow now, because in following, I can learn how to lead better. And it took me a very long time to learn how to lead. I mean, I don't think I learned how to do this properly until pretty recently, man. Yeah, I mean, I think I had a good idea for 20 years, but the last 5 years are where it's all really started to make sense. But
Trying to be a leader is hard. Like I'm gonna ask you something now, honestly. Um, what are your foundations of being a leader, honestly?
what do you mean by that? In what regard?
Like what steps? Like, let me just figure out how to word this. What did you have to do? What did you have to change for yourself as a person to become a leader? Honestly,
I had to fuck up a lot. I really had to make a lot of mistakes. And I had to humble myself to understand that the mistakes were my fault. And I had to understand that the priority was not putting myself in a leadership position, but providing information to people in a way that created the leadership position. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to place myself here, everybody follow me. That just didn't work. What I had to do is I had to become a servant to actually lead, if that makes any sense. Because the problem was, when I was trying to dictate, it created animosity. And then one day I realized that I run a service business and no one should be following me if I'm not providing value. So I really had to understand what it meant for me to do what I do, and then find people that felt the same way, and then work with them to connect them with the things that I connected with, that I found the value in for myself, help them find value in it. And then it becomes this mutually beneficial trade. And then it's the leadership side of it came about because people started to respect the fact that I was working very hard to bring value to them. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does.
So you have to give a lot to earn the spot of leadership. I don't care what you know. I don't care where you've been or what you've done or how fucking cool you think you are. You are not a leader until you are providing a value that inspires people to follow you. Not fear, not demanding of obedience, but actually giving people something that they connect with and they say, I am better because of this relationship, and then they follow. And then if they get good enough, eventually you put them in leadership positions as well. And then you continue to lead them because you're going to help them be leaders, and on and on and on. And that's how you really grow something big. And I think the most important aspect of the changes in Killer Bee and the community and how we've interacted is that it's not about me and my gym. It's about everybody. And it's about the opportunities for you guys to give back. And that's how I'm giving back to people, is by helping you guys learn how to teach better, how to be better partners, and all that kind of stuff. So we're all benefiting from the work we're all doing together. So I work with you, and then you work with the next guy, and then that next guy's being taught how to go there. It may have started with me, but now you guys have your thing, and we respect it, and it stays together that way.
100%.
So it's like that the giving side of it is the glue that binds it all together. And also recognizing that there are some people that no matter what you give them, they're never going to be happy and they're takers. And it's not allowing them to be part of the process. Okay, so the value side of it, okay, so when I really think about it, now that we're talking, the leadership thing, the hardest part of my job, it's the worst part, is when we truly recognize that someone doesn't belong in the group because it's devaluing the experience for everyone. Leadership is having to step in and say, hey, I need you to go away. That's the burden of leadership.
It's tough.
Creating a community is what I was talking about before more. And I lead in regards to creating a culture. And then you guys take the lead as well. And we all lead in different ways to create the culture. But ultimately, sitting on the top, I have to be the asshole sometimes.
No, yeah, that's tough. You know,
That's the burden.
Yeah, you don't want to be an asshole. You know,
but
like you have to
be.
Yeah, sometimes you got to.
Sometimes I got to make decisions where I know it's not gonna be a nice conversation, but for the benefit of everybody else, it has to be.
And it's hard to do sometimes. You know, it's like you just don't want it.
I feel for everybody, man. I'm the biggest cheerleader of everybody. Like, I want everybody to do well, and I don't want to lose the opportunity to do well for somebody. And the other side of it is there's a tremendous amount of predators out there. There's a lot of shitty people out there that take these guys in, and they prey upon their weaknesses, and they ruin them.
Yeah,
and I don't want them. And I'll take the pain of dealing with these guys until it gets to the point where it's like, this is just an untenable situation, and then I got to let them go. And then they're on their own, and then it ends up however it ends up, and it hurts. It hurts. I'm happy to see how our mat is better for them being gone, but I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't really, really hurt when I lose somebody because they're just not fitting anymore. But I can't save everybody, and I'm not the right answer for everybody. Some people are just not meant to walk the path that I'm walking. It is what it is. That's the reality of life. Those are the ones that hurt. Those are the ones that hurt. That's the shitty aspect of it. The hours, I mean, we're sitting here like what? It's like 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, and we're doing this because we got to get the content done. Like, that's not that hard. It sucks sometimes to have to work 24/7. I work 9 to 9 every day. It's the job.
Kind of want to do, like, this is cool. Waste an hour doing this.
Yeah, but you don't have 2 kids and a wife at home.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get on this.
But it's my job. But this is my
I'm young. I got to waste up all my hours.
But my job takes a lot of hours. But
Yeah,
the
no,
hardest part of these hours is having
grinding.
to make these hard cuts sometimes.
You be grinding.
Yeah.
100%.
But in regards to cutting guys, the only other thing I'm going to throw out on that regard is sometimes people need to leave to figure shit out so they can come back and be that guy that they weren't able to be. The door's always open for the guy who's honestly going to come back and come correct. Some people are going to come back and try and take. That's done.
Yeah,
Take from me once, we good. I don't need you back again. And unless that changes. But some people do go and they figure it out differently, and the message gets figured out, and yeah, the door's there for them. If they could function within our community in a positive way. I mean, I got a call right now. I got to go meet somebody tomorrow. I got a guy that trained with me. We probably haven't trained together 8-9 years now consistently. It was someone that I promoted to black belt a very long time ago when we were doing that stuff. It was one of my original students.
Brian handing out black belts.
I didn't hand out. Fuck you. I didn't hand anything out. Ask people. I only have. How many do I have? I only have like.
I'm a black belt too.
I only have like 4 because the test was so hard. Not too many people want to take it. But
for karate?
Yeah, my full contact karate test were
shit.
rough. But this dude was one of my original black belts from back in the day.
You're talking about like judo.
No. But this kid, we had a bit of a falling out, and hit me up last week, and I'm literally going to go and I'm going to have coffee with him tomorrow. And we're going to talk
cool.
shop, and we're going to figure out if there's a way that we can work together again. And like I said, man, the door's always open. We just got to figure out if it's going to work. Just no take situations. Everybody's got to be given for the benefit of everybody else, and then everything works. So yeah, is what it is, man. This is that leadership side. That's the interpersonal. Like, you got to figure out how to bring that group together. That's gonna work best. It's like in business, they have the 80-20 rule. They say 20% of your business, 80% of your money comes from 20% of your customers, and it's crazy that way. It's like you can't, in the gym, you can't focus on the lost ones so heavily that 80% of your business is not getting taken care of. You really got to focus on the bulk of your business, and that's why you got to make the hard cuts sometimes, because there's more people out there than just that one, and it sucks. But yeah. That leadership one's a bitch, man, but it's the price you got to pay to, you want to run your own thing. I mean, shit, you want to open up a barbershop, it's the same thing. You're the one who's going to have to put the barbers in the chair.
Yeah. Yep.
And when they're not holding up their end of the chair, you're going to have to let them go. The way it goes. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Easy. But what I think's arising now too is certain guys are coming into positions in the gym where more of like captain-ish kind of roles too. And I really need that, because I can't be the only person speaking. Because when things go wrong, so like when you have a problem with a guy on the mat, if everybody's not speaking up and voicing their opinion about what's going on, and it always falls on me, then again, I am the only asshole. Like, I would like us all to be assholes together on this.
No,
and that's why communication's so important.
It's a family. It's a pack. Yeah, no, 100%.
The family one I get weird with, because
No, you're right.
you know how I am with that.
I didn't mean it like
No,
just speaking.
Look. I think we have a very family vibe with our team. Like, we have a very strong family connection with everybody. But truth be told,
It's a
like
team.
It's a team, and we're very close. But family's different.
Yeah, family's.
Your mom's never gonna kick you out of the house for not paying tuition.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna be disinvited from Christmas if, like, you don't come to sparring twice a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
100%.
it's just
Family's
different.
family, yeah.
Family's family. And that's why when guys say family, I feel like that's a manipulative way to get more money out of people. I don't ever want to be like
No,
that.
I wouldn't. No.
But that's
Yeah, as a gym, you can't. It's a team. It's a squad.
It's a team, and it's a service-based business.
Yeah, squad, whatever you want.
And I have to provide a service. You guys have to provide stuff to keep the service to keep rolling on. I mean, I can't pay the bills with goodwill. Can't drive a Porsche on goodwill either. It is what it is. So tonight we got fights. Who do you think's winning the main event tonight? Well, we got Jiri and what's his face? Pereira. What you got?
I'm just a Pereira fanboy right now, honestly.
I'm a huge Pereira fan,
But
Jiri's got so
He's
many
so-
tools.
tool.
So many tools.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at his record. He has
Pereira has
he has
like
a lot of submission wins.
he has
Yeah,
one tool.
so, yeah, I know.
It's a motherfucker of a tool if he hits you with it. But
I just like the thing about Yuri. His style irks me. Like, I just want it to be like, I don't know. It's just style irks
his
me.
fight with Glover, I thought
it was epic, but it was sloppy as
no.
Like, it was-
That fight, I think, could have been a textbook of how to do MMA. They literally did every aspect of it. They boxed, they kickboxed, they wrestled, they jitsed, they did everything. They
I just
transitioned,
thought
they
the
went
IQ
for
wasn't
submission.
that there. Like the
You're
IQ.
insane.
No.
That was probably
Nah,
the
nah.
highest IQ I've ever seen in MMA.
Like,
Well,
why
from
would
Glover.
he go guillotine,
From Glover.
bro? Right there.
Glover's
Just wail. Just start wailing punches.
That was a master class in MMA from Glover. Even in losing, I thought that was a master class.
No,
in
it was a
MMA.
good fight. I'm just making it way more
I
dramatic.
if Pereira doesn't catch him, he's gonna. I think he gasses out.
Yeah, and he's a lot smaller.
I don't think he can.
He has,
If it goes past 2 rounds, I think he dies. I think he gasses out and gets chipped apart. I don't mean like
no. That's just,
murdered, but I
no.
think he'll run out of gas. I don't think he'll be able to hold it up.
He's just so awkward.
But that's what makes
I know
him
a
so
lot of
dangerous.
people like his.
But that's what
yeah,
makes him
it's
so
just
dangerous.
Yeah.
What's the co-main? Oh, and the heavyweights in the co-main event. What are you thinking about that? It's Aspinall and Sergey.
Aspinall.
I think Aspinall is phenomenal. I
just
love
don't
his
like the
skill
way he
set.
was talking this week in media week.
I haven't paid attention to anything. I've been busy.
Word.
But I don't think Aspinall, when I look at Aspinall, I don't know if he has the killer instinct that Sergey has. Like that dude's
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
he's punching holes in
Holes.
people. Where Aspinall, I think, is phenomenal, amazing skill set, can do it, but I just don't know if he has
I
the
would like Tom
tenacity.
Aspinall to win. Not
But
saying
I'm
he's-
saying, who do you think? Not who do you want? Like, who do you think?
Oh, Sergey. I just think he's just.
I think Sergey's going to punch a hole in him.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I just think he's going to hit him with a cinder block at some point. That's the hardest part with a lot of these fights is that there are guys that you want to see win, but
Yeah,
you got to be
I
honest
always
about the
pick
tactical side.
who I
of it.
want to win. It's literally how I judge fights. It's like,
Then you can't win.
yeah, no,
You can't win. You're a terrible better then.
I don't bet for that reason.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to bet, so I stop
That's
myself.
a rabbit hole I don't want to get down.
Yeah, yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, the UFC made that big move with gambling. That if you have people in the UFC and you're connected to it, you've got to stay away from it. And I think that's a good thing to do because once you start
Just
crossing
delete
those
the apps.
lines, it
Just
just screws you all up.
delete
Screws
the
you all
apps
up.
So you don't see them.
Yeah,
That's what I had to do. I was like, $5 on blackjack. Let's see if it hits.
but that's like drug dealing, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
It's-
like. No,
it's
I can't.
like-
That's what I'm
it's
saying. I
the
can't
same
go.
shit.
I cannot go down that rabbit
You're
hole.
looking at a new pair of Jordans on there. You're like, I want this, I want that. And that's where people get caught.
Caught.
That's why
100%.
those predatory dickheads we were talking about have jobs, is because they can prey upon people that can't stop themselves from always betting on whatever.
Yeah.
My dad taught me when I was young. We went to Las Vegas when I was 18, and we walked in this casino. My father said, "You know what the key to gambling is?" I said, "What?" He goes, "You got to walk in there with a certain amount of money that you're 100% prepared to lose. And you just, if you lose it, you don't get upset you lost it. You walk in there prepared to lose a certain amount, and you look at gambling as entertainment, not as a way to make money.
Yeah, that's what.
And if you do that, you're good.
Yeah, I never
And
experienced.
every once in a while, you'll win."
I never experienced going to a casino. So like,
Oh my God.
one day, hopefully.
You know I got a Vegas thing, so you'll have to. We'll have to do a training trip, and
Extreme
I'll
Couture.
introduce you to something, and then like
That'd be sick.
you'll lose all your money. My buddy Tomas.
Like you just told me, just
I
bring
know.
a certain amount of cash. That I know.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try and teach you the right way, but knowing you're gonna like marry a stripper and lose all your money.
Oh
so.
hell no. Hell no. Chill.
That's Frog. He'll do that. So my last story I'll tell. My buddy Tomas came to visit me, and we went to Atlantic City, and he really never gambled before, and we start playing blackjack. He's like, "Ooh, I like this," and then he's like, "Let's go to roulette," and then he starts playing, and I'm like, "Oh shit, this is bad." And Mayweather was fighting. This is 20 years ago. And he goes to he goes to Las Vegas by himself to go see a Mayweather fight. I couldn't go because I had the gym. I was running a camp for somebody. And he flew to Vegas, and he meets me in New York City. So he meets me in New York City. He's from Switzerland. He's flying back to Switzerland. We meet in New York City, and he's like, "I got a problem." I said, "What?" He goes, I lost a little bit of money. I'm like, "What's a little bit?" He goes, "I don't know how I'm going to pay the rent on the gym when I get home." I'm like, "Oh no, what did you do?" He just started wiring money from his bank, and he just kept playing, and he got in a hole, and then he kept trying to gamble his way out of it. And he was going to go to the Mayweather fight. He sold the tickets for cash and then gambled that away. And then he was like in this crazy place. He went back. He literally had to take a business partner on to keep his shit going. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, that's crazy. I don't have that issue. He had that issue.
That's
so,
sad.
yeah. All right, Randy. I think we've been shooting it long enough here. So,
Yeah.
you got anything you want to throw out there before we head off?
In terms,
In terms of like, do you have anything you want to say to people listening? Anything you want
I
to
want
say?
to do another one. This was fun.
All right,
Cool.
we can do another one another time. But
I think I need.
you have no message for anybody right now.
No, honestly, I don't.
Are you going to the fights next week?
I'm gonna try to. Yeah.
All right, because we got big ones next week. We've got Jen, Christian, and Jalen all fighting at Gut Check in Delaware.
Oh yeah.
That'll be awesome. And then we got Tristan December 2nd coming up after that. So yeah, we're gonna be busy.
I know.
Busy. So, and then we're gonna get your face right, and then hopefully we'll get you in February. And I do want you to fight the same kid.
I'm down.
I want the
I'm
same
with
kid.
it.
I want the same kid.
Cool with me.
That was a great matchup. I want that matchup. But
Yeah, I like it. 1-0. 1-0. Perfect.
Yep. So no message, no nothing.
Nah.
You don't even want to say thanks to your mom. Nothing. Look at you.
Nah,
you don't care.
Nah.
You got
Just
nothing.
I'll say a message. Just be hungry. That's it.
And humble.
And humble, yeah. Really.
Humble and hungry. Humble and hungry.
If you want to do something, just do it.
Yep.
That's really it. Favorite brand, Nike, just do it. Sponsor me.
Oh my God. All right, Mr. Randy. I think we're gonna call this a quits. So Randy Hernandez, Brian Wright. This is the Hive Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time. Out.